Okay, so now we're talking about radians, which is another way to describe degrees. Another way to measure an angle. You can measure an angle in radians or degrees. This is from your homework, page 863 to 864, numbers 19 to 34, and number 52. So let's take a look here. It says find one positive angle and one negative angle that are coterminal with the given angle. So just like before, when we were doing coterminal angles with degrees, we were adding or subtracting 360 because that's a full circle. Well, 360 degrees in radians is 2 pi. These things are the same. So a full circle in degrees is 360 degrees, and a full circle in radians is 2 pi radians. So in order to find coterminal angles, just like before we were adding or subtracting 360 degrees, now I'm going to add or subtract 2 pi. So let's go ahead and start. We need one positive and one negative. So I'm going to have 9 pi over 2 plus, let's add 2 pi. Okay. Now remember, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need to have common denominators. So I'm going to rewrite 2 pi over 1 as 4 pi over 2. That way both radians have the common denominator. So this is going to be 4 pi over 2 instead, because I just multiplied top and bottom by 2 here. And now I can add the top. I am going to have 4 plus 9, that's 13. 13 pi over 2. And 13 pi over 2 cannot be simplified, as 13 is a prime number. So there we have one positive coterminal angle, which is 13 pi over 2. And now I'm going to go ahead and find one negative. Now here I was adding 4 pi over 2. I'm going to subtract now 4 pi over 2. I'm just going to go ahead and right away use the converted common denominators. And when I do that, I will have 9 minus 4, which is 5 pi over 2. Well, here I do not have a negative coterminal angle. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and subtract 4 pi over 2 again. 5 minus 4 is just 1, so I have pi over 2. So again, I don't have a negative, but I noticed that here I have 1 and 2 more coterminal angles that I could have used. So I'm going to try one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and take pi over 2, and I'm going to subtract. Let's go ahead and pi over 2. And I'm going to subtract 4 pi over 2. So here I'm going to get 1 minus 4 is negative 3 pi over 2. So I have 1, 2 coterminals, and a third coterminal angle, which is negative. So really, in this problem, I've already found 4 coterminal angles. The next problem asks us to convert the degree measure to radians, or the radians measure to degrees. So what I want to do is I want to multiply this by a ratio that is equivalent in degrees. So we know that 2 pi is equal to 360 degrees, which means that pi is just equal to 180. Oops. So I'm going to use that knowledge to go ahead and convert my degree measure. So I'm going to use a ratio. And the ratio I'm going to use is pi over 180. I want to have the degrees on the bottom because when I multiply this, I want my degrees to cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this straight across. I'm going to have 315 pi over 180. And then I'm going to go ahead and simplify that the best I can. So 315, let's say we can divide top and bottom by 5 for sure. So the top, I get 63 pi if I divide that by 5. And on the bottom, if I divide that by 5, I'm going to have 36. Well, here again, I still can divide top and bottom, and I notice I can divide top and bottom by 9. If I divide the top by 9, I'm going to have 7 pi. And if I divide the bottom by 9, I'm going to have 4. And that's about as simplified as I can get. 7 pi over 4. So in order to convert degree measures to radians, I have to multiply by some sort of ratio of pi over 180 or 180 over pi, depending on if I'm converting degrees to radians or radians to degrees. I always want my things to cancel out that I'm trying to convert to. So in this case, my degrees were canceling out. If you have any questions, please see me or Mr. Daniels, and have a lovely day.